Thank you so much. And Madam Secretary, you can go ahead and begin your recording as well. We will call this meeting of the Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure to order. Welcome to the Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Senator Brooks?
Here.
Senator Hammond? Senator Pickard?
Here.
Senator Spearman?
Here.
Chair Harris?
Here, thank you. There are 4 members present, so we have quorum. We will mark members present as they arrive, and I will be sure to give you an audio signal once they arrive so that you're aware. All right, please be courteous and respectful. Just a little reminder with others during this meeting, even if you disagree with another person's position. For those participating on Zoom, please be sure to mute your microphone when you are not speaking. First item on the agenda today is a hearing on Senate Bill 17, which revises provisions governing motor vehicles. We have Mr. Sever here to present this bill, and I believe he has with him Ms. Tanya Laney as well as J.D. Decker. Welcome to the committee. Please go ahead and state your name for the record.
Great, thank you, Chair. Sean Sever from the DMV, and thank you for letting us present SB 17 to you today. The DMV with this bill is seeking to remove the established place of business requirement for driving schools that offer online classroom instruction. At the DMV, as many of you know, we are working to transform our services and offer all of them online, just like many of the other businesses are doing right now. So Nevadans aren't required to come into our buildings to conduct their business, and this bill is part of that effort. So currently, the DMV is limited to granting licenses for the operation of drive schools for training drivers to those businesses that maintain an established place of business in the state. The internet has provided additional opportunities for businesses to provide services without having an established place of business where students can go from physically attending courses to taking them online. So the DMV is seeking to remove the established place of business requirement for the issuance of a license for the operation of these schools that train drivers, where the classroom instruction is being provided online. And then the DMV also wants to clarify that the books and records of a licensee must be maintained and made available to the DMV physically or electronically. So we greatly appreciate you considering this request. And I have several people in the room and on the phone that can help me answer questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sever. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to any questions from committee members. Please feel free to either raise your hand like this or use the raise hand function in Zoom if you'd like to ask a question. Okay, from what I can tell, this is going pretty easy for you. No questions from any members. So I will go ahead and open it up to public testimony at this time if BPS is ready. We'll start with testimony in support of Bill SB 17.
Thank you, Chair. We do have 2 callers. Callers to testify in support of Bill SB 17, please press *9 now to join the queue. Once again, to testify in support of Bill SB 17, please press *9 now. All right, Chair, it doesn't look like any of our callers wish to testify in support of the bill.
Okay, Given that, we will move on to testimony in opposition to SB 17.
Once again, callers, if you wish to testify in opposition to Bill SB 17, please press *9 now to take your place in the queue. Once again, to testify in opposition to the bill, SB 17, please press *9 now to enter the queue. Chair Harris, it doesn't look like anyone wishes to testify in opposition either.
Okay, can we please move on to anyone wishing to testify neutral on SB 17?
Absolutely. To testify in neutral to SB 17, once again, please press *9 now to enter your place in the queue. All right, we don't have anyone in this queue either, Chair Harris.
Okay, thank you so much. At the risk of ruining your good streak here, Mr. Sever, is there any final remarks you'd like to make on this bill?
No, thanks. I just thank everybody for your time and for considering this request. And I'll be available if you have any questions in the meantime. Thank you.
Okay, we will go ahead and close the hearing on SB 17 and open up the hearing on SB 29, welcoming back Mr. Sever and his colleagues at the DMV.
All right, thank you once again, Sean Sever for the record from the DMV. And thank you for letting us present SB 29 to you today. This bill is, the DMV is seeking to partner with third parties to process salvage titles for us, which is a form of vehicle title branding that notes that a vehicle has been damaged or deemed a total loss by an insurance company that has paid a claim on it. And as I said on the last bill, the DMV is transforming our services and trying to move everything online. And so this bill is also part of that effort. So the DMV had to close its doors approximately 2 months this summer due to the pandemic, and we were unable to process salvage titles at that time, along with many of our other services. So industry representatives reached out to us and offered to partner with the DMV in the review and processing of salvage titles. Currently, the DMV has authority for this type of partnership in NRS chapters 481 and 482, but not in chapter 487. And that's what this bill is putting forward. Industry representatives currently partner with other jurisdictions in handling and processing salvage titles. And the DMV wants to allow these third parties the ability to produce salvage titles in a manner similar to the authority granted in Chapter 481 for the issuance of temporary permits and Chapter 482 for the issuance of regular titles. And this bill would just give us authority to work with these third parties. We would still have workshops and work on regulations to develop this process. So we greatly appreciate your consideration of this request. And once again, I have people on the phone and in the room that can help answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I have one question related to termination of these contracts if you happen to enter into one with someone who turns out to be a bad actor later on down the line. Could you explain to me what those options are for termination of a contract once you've already entered into one?
And this is Sean Sever. I'm going to let JD Decker handle that question. He's on the phone.
Hi, JD Decker, Chief of the Compliance Enforcement Division for DMV, Chair Harris, to answer your question. I think that would be specified by the contract. That wouldn't necessarily be a CED issue, compliance enforcement issue. We would investigate any type of fraud or misuse or violations of the law, but we would definitely work with our other divisions to come up with regulations that protected the public and the department and the state. But I think probably the contract would have to include some provisions to terminate in the event of fraud or misuse of the authority.
Thank you so much, Mr. Decker. I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions from other members of the committee. Senator Pickard.
Hey, Madam Chair, just a quick question actually on the opposite end of the question or of the topic that the chair raised, and that's at the front end. When we're contracting and appointing individuals or outfits to do this, I assume there are a set of qualifications they have to meet. And is anyone who meets those qualifications able to obtain those contracts? Or is this something that is bid out? Or how do you go about selecting them?
Sorry, a little bit of musical chairs. Hi there, my name is April Sanborn, and I am an administrator here at the Department of Motor Vehicles for the Central Services and Records Division. And so, yeah, as far as entering into a contract with any of these entities, it would be the same process that we use currently going through state purchasing. So it would be the same process in which we establish parameters with individuals enter into this contract with. There's quite a bit of delay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get that. It was all garbled up. Do you mind repeating that, please?
Yeah, is that good now? A little bit better, maybe? So April Sanborn, Central Services and Records Administrator for DMV. The process in which we will enter into any contract with any entity is the same process we use when we go through state purchasing. So those parameters and guidelines are already established, and so we would still follow that same process.
Okay, and is that a bid situation? So you do this periodically, or when someone decides they want to set up shop and they now qualify, can they apply to come in at any time during the year?
April Sanborn, Department of Motor Vehicles, Administrator, Central Services and Records Division. So as far as the contract is concerned, yes, this would be a bid process just like we normally would do. And I want to say something along the lines of we start at 2 years and so on and so forth. So that's all going to be the same process. That won't change. But there are parameters set forth within the language within this bill that have already established some things that are required for this entity in order for us to enter into that contract. So coupled with language in the bill and the process that we already use today with state purchasing, all of those regulations and requirements will also be included in this contract. Still some delay. Did you miss any of that at the end?
Just at the very end, but I think you answered the question that it's a bid process, it's a 2-year term, and someone who came in today, if it was the day after the bid opening was, or the bids were closed, then they would have to wait 2 years to get on board. I was just trying to get a sense for how someone identifying this as a potential employment situation could get in, but it's a 2-year process. So and thank you. I appreciate the answer, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Brooks.
Thank you, Chair Harris. My question is on section 2, sub 1, and it's about the fees associated with this. So it says that the agent could collect the fees, the statutory fees for issuing the salvage title. Are there any additional fees, or will the agent just be collecting those fees and then turning them over to the state?
April Sanborn, Administrator, Central Services and Records, Department of Motor Vehicles. Thank you for the question. So yes, they would be collecting the fees and then turning them over to the state.
So their payment for this service comes directly as a contract for service with DMV, not any of the fees related with that?
I'm so sorry. I did not hear you.
I think we got a little bit of a bad connection today. I apologize for that.
Just to-
So the contractor doesn't get any of the fees that are collected for the salvage title. Those are set by statute, and then that doesn't change. They're just collecting those fees on behalf of the state.
April Sanborn, DMV, for the record. Yes, they're collecting them on behalf of the state.
So their compensation is 100% through a contract they enter into with DMV for doing that service. Is that correct?
April Sanborn, DMV, for the record. I would have to say at this point, I don't have the answer to that question. Let me get back to you on that one.
Okay, great. And so another question I have is that this is a 2/3 majority vote, and I'm just wondering why. It doesn't seem that it collects any additional revenues. It sounds like we're just using state dollars to subcontract a service that DMV currently does.
Ms. O'Grady, would you like, she's the legal counsel for our committee, would you like to weigh in on that?
The 2/3, it relates to the fee for fingerprints that the person has to submit.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so, okay, so it's no new revenue, it's just a new cost associated with this as a result of having a subcontractor do it. Is that correct?
The fingerprint is yes, it's a new process.
Yes, that's correct. This is Sean Sever from the DMV.
Okay, great. And so as a result of this, is the cost of the contractor doing this lower than the cost of DMV doing it? Is DMV going to have additional costs associated with this service? Or are they going to realize savings associated with this service?
April Sanborn, DMV, for the record. So there's not a cost savings or increase to the department or this, well, I can't speak for the businesses, but the thing that we're going to realize is we're going to realize savings in processes. So it's going to be more efficient. We don't know exactly what that process is going to look like at the end of the day, because this bill simply provides the language that gives us the authority to begin having those conversations and start figuring out what the program looks like and how it can be mutually beneficial for the department as well as these entities as well as the public. So that's the goal in this. And the idea is that it's going to save time with some of the processes being managed by these entities. It's going to save the department time, and it'll be easier for us to get the titles turned around on the back end. And so it'll be better for the businesses and the customers on the back end. So that's the ultimate goal as far as savings, and that's efficiency.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That answers all my questions thoroughly. I appreciate that.
Okay, great. Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a real quick question about outreach to the potential third parties. Want to know if you have in place something that will make sure that there is diversity that includes minority businesses, women, that sort of thing.
April Sanborn, DMV, for the record. Absolutely. I mean, we intend on engaging all of these organizations so that they can all have a voice at the table and to see how this looks at the end of the day.
Okay. That's an outreach, the specific outreach. Is that a specific outreach program or is that just something you automatically do? And the reason I ask that is because, especially coming out of the pandemic, we want to make sure that all of our communities, particularly BIPOC communities, get a fair shot at any contracts that the state is going to let. So that's my question.
So April Sanborn, DMV, for the record. I didn't hear most of that because it was breaking up. So working along the same question that you had initially, I'm going to assume that you want us to ensure that we are doing our due diligence to reach out to minority businesses and such to make sure that they're also part of this process. And so you have our commitment to do that.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Sanborn, thank you for being a model testifier and saying your name and your affiliation each time beautifully. The committee and the staff always appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and see if any other members have questions. Okay, seeing none, we will go ahead and open this up for testimony in support of Senate Bill 29.
Callers, to take your place in the queue to testify in support of SB 29, please press star 9 now. Caller with the last 3 digits of 971, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. And you may begin.
Thank you. My name is Kevin Park, Kevin Park. I am the government affairs for a company, Insurance Auto Auctions. We will be one of the 2 large salvage auto auction companies in your great state. And I'm calling to testify in support of this bill. Insurance auto auctions processes between 15 to 20,000 salvage titled vehicles in the great state of Nevada each year. And at times, the process, as the DMV testified during the pandemic, there was a period of time when we were unable to obtain any titles, and it virtually shut our business down for a period of time. But even outside of a pandemic situation, for our insurance customers, the large insurance companies, the quicker we can turn a vehicle around for them, the more revenue that they can realize. And generally that will translate into lower premiums for the customers. IAA does have 2 yards in your great state, and we like to keep them at a minimum footprint. So the quicker we can turn a vehicle around, then we can take in additional vehicles and don't need to seek additional acreage for a business that nobody wants us in their backyard, and I definitely understand that. And there is value. There was a question by one of the committee members earlier. There is value to the DMV, as they stated, in rededicating their staffing time instead of processing a salvage title for a company like Insurance Auto Auctions. They can dedicate that to your front-facing customers that need to have more hands-on assistance and help from the state. So we are very heartened by this bill and are excited to watch it progress through and hopefully pass. Madam Chair and committee members, I thank you for the opportunity to testify in favor of this, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
All right, thank you. Prior to taking our next caller, I'd just like to note that Senator Hammond has joined us. Let's go ahead and move on to any further testimony and support.
Caller with the last three digits of 546, please slowly state and spell your name for the record, and you may begin.
Thank you. My name is Mark Bender. It's M-A-R-K. Bender looks like binder. B as in boy, I-N-D-E-R. And I'm with Copart, like my friend Kevin. We're in the same business as Insurance Auto Auctions. We are an auction, and we service the entire state of Nevada as well. We have two locations, one in Reno and one in Las Vegas, but we cover the entire footprint of Nevada for our insurance customers. And I just want to emphasize that we've had a very positive and longstanding relationship with the Nevada DMV. And this is something that we're actually really thankful for. And we consider them DMV an industry partner for our industry, not just for Copart, but for the entire industry. And we believe that this bill is a great example of our partnership. It's where you take private industry as well as state government, you work together to create solutions to problems, to make a more efficient process. And I would really want to emphasize that from some of the questions, it sounded like there was the perception that this was a big cost to the state because there's additional cost but no revenue. And I want to just emphasize that that is not the case, because how it would work is there's licensed dealers like Copart and our competitor Insurance Auto Auctions that will be processing titles for the DMV. Low risk titles, we're talking about salvage titles here, which are very low risk. And so we would be absorbing the expense for this processing of the titles, approximately $40,000 for the entire industry for the whole state. The labor will be absorbed by the people providing the service at no cost to the state. So look at it this way, the DMV in the state of Nevada will get the same revenue in, but they won't have any of the costs associated with processing the labor of the title work. So, and I also want to emphasize as well that this is not a new idea. This isn't something that we've just come up with and think it'd be great in Nevada, which we do think it will. It's also just surrounding the state. I mean, Utah, Arizona, California, and even a little farther east in New Mexico, they all have a process similar to this, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe Arizona's been back since 1995. So it's a long-term proven system that we're requesting in the state of Nevada. We think it's actually good for the industry. We think it's good for the citizens because, the times, especially when you have to have scheduled appointments, it's really tough for staff to manage and juggle all the balls of the DMV. And this is one easy solution that we think can make it easier for the DMV, for our industry, as well as the citizens. And I, along with Kevin, ask for your support in this bill. And I'm more than willing to answer any questions you have. And I want you to understand that we think this is a positive move for the state. And we ask for your support and thank you for the time.
Okay, caller with
have
the
any-
last three digits. Oh, I'm sorry. Caller with the last three digits of 522. Please slowly state and spell your name for the record, and you may begin.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Atlas, JENNIFER ATLAS, with the Griffin Company here today representing IAA along with Kevin. And I just wanted to piggyback off of what he said and thank the DMV for bringing forward this bill and being a leader on the issue. And we strongly encourage your support. Thank you.
Okay, we do have one more caller, Chair. Caller with the last three digits of 725. Please slowly state and spell your name for the record, and you may begin.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, this is Andrew McKay, ANDREW MACKAY. I am the Executive Director of the Nevada Franchised Auto Dealers Association. Not to belabor this issue and take any more of your time because the previous speakers covered everything, but we are in full support of the measure. namely because of the fact that it will reduce the cycle times for the issuance of salvage titles. And then, as referenced prior as well, and it's important to note that hopefully this will lift some of the burden off of the department, specifically the Central Services Division, who have just been bombarded with work, and namely because of the pandemic. And anything that you can do to help streamline that process and improve it, we fully support. So thank you for your time, and if there are any questions, I'm available to answer them. Appreciate you guys.
Chair, at this time, there are no more callers in support of Bill SB 29.
Okay, we will go ahead and open it up to testimony in opposition to SB 29.
To take your place in the queue for opposition to Bill SB 29, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, the public caller line is open and working. However, there are no more callers at this time.
Okay, just for pro forma sake, we'll open it up to testimony in the neutral.
Absolutely. To take your place in the queue for a neutral stance on Bill SB 29, please press star 9 now. Once again, to take your place in a neutral stance on Bill SB 29, please press star 9 now. Once again, Chair, the line is open and working. However, there are no more callers.
Okay. Mr. Sever, would you like to make any closing remarks?
Sure, thank you. And just one thing to add is you heard from the people in support. The whole goal of this is to make it so dealers can turn over their titles faster and not have to.
You're going to have to give that to us one more time.
Sorry. Okay, so Sean Sever from the DMV for the record, and we appreciate you hearing our bill today. And the whole point of it is to make it so the dealers can turn over their titles faster and not have to wait on our agency. And we think this could really help us out. So we appreciate your time and for hearing our bill today. Thank you.
Okay, we will go ahead and close the hearing on SB 29, and we will open it up for public comment. We're going to go ahead and limit that to 2 minutes per person today. BPS, please go ahead and connect first person wishing to make public comment, if any.
Absolutely. For anyone wishing to make public comment, please press star 9 now to enter the queue. Once again, if you would like to make public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. All right, Chair, at this time, the line is open and working. However, there are no callers.
Okay, we will go ahead and close public comment. Are there any comments from any members before we adjourn? All right, seeing none, our next meeting will be Wednesday, February 10th at 3:30. I will look forward to seeing you all then. Seeing no further business, we are adjourned.